We're talking Five Nights at Freddy's on Gene and Roger Talk Movies today.
Yes, just opened.
Here's your one and only spoiler warning. Of course, it is playing at the theater right now, also available on Peacock. Gene, initial thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's?
You know, kind of disappointed. My younger son wanted to join along for this podcast, but he had a big swim meet yesterday. He had a bunch of personal bests, so it was a great, victorious time for him, but he was just exhausted, so there was no getting that teen up this morning. So so he's not joining us, and it would have been cool to have him here because he has that video game perspective. He played the video game, and also it's interesting sitting next to him while watching this movie because I guess there are lots of really famous YouTube influencers in this movie. And he was like shocked to see them. It's like, what? You know, you could see the expression on his face. And, you know, we would talk occasionally during the movie, like we were bad theater goers. But yeah, he'd tell me how the movie had diverged off from the, from the game and all that. And I don't know. I'd entered this movie with really low expectations. You know, it's got rotten scores everywhere, but I knew the popcorn would be good. The soda would be good. But if I had to summarize this movie, I'd probably say it like this. It's like this movie is kind of like it's like a thriller, but with no thrills. It's a scary movie or a horror movie that's not scary. It's kind of attempts at horror comedy, but it's not funny. It's just kind of, I walked away from the movie and I told my son, he's like, dude, that's like flat. It's just, it hit me flat. You know, there's no really, it doesn't pull you in. There are no big surprise. There are no surprises. You know, and it's not gory. It's not bloody. It is horror, but it's not bloody. It's not gory. So, I don't know. If you've played the game, you know, you should see it because then you got that natural comparison, and that's interesting. But for just an average theater goer, this movie has like nothing. Doesn't have any. I wouldn't. Yeah, this is not a recommendation.
Well, Gene, here we are once again.
No,
No, I'm totally kidding. No, Gene, you nailed it. You nailed it. And it's interesting because I did some research on the fact that people who know the game and play the game really, really, really like this movie. Oh. And so I have a feeling that I was just the wrong audience for this particular film because I don't play the games. I know what they are.
Yes.
But having never played them, just the movie, just regular old theater goer, right, watching this film, I'm like, oh, yeah, this movie, there is nothing worth my time here at all.
Right, that's a good way to say it.
And it's a PG-13, of course, so they definitely were targeting the video game younger crowd for sure.
Yeah, but we've commented you can have a PG-13 that is still scary.
Right.
You know, that's good.
The Ring, Woman in Black, those are PG-13 movies done properly. This one, there's nothing really happening in here. There's the possibility of extreme gore sequences.
Yes, but do they deliver? No. Don't deliver.
They do not.
It's so sad.
And I think also they got a little too tied in with the backstory of the caretaker guy and his kid his son, or not his son, his brother being abducted and all this. And it's like, okay, give me one of those scenes and then let's move on. We've established that this is a problem for him and it's a lingering trauma.
Right.
I don't need to keep going back to that and back to that and back to that.
Right.
Give me the animatronic puppets wreaking havoc, and that never really came to fruition.
Never. And the whole thing is, again, we're spoilers here, but we're talking about the movie. But like the bodies of the missing kids, I guess, were in the puppets, animatronic creatures. But, you know, we never saw them, or we never saw the bodies in there. We never saw the actual bones. You know, and so it just still fell flat because the movie brings this point up. It's supposed to be scary, but it's not scary because you don't see it.
No, and the whole time I'm watching it, I was just like, man, here's your opportunity, right? Because they did the whole scene where there's this group that break in, they're gonna trash the place,
the
and then
opportunity for gore.
Yeah, a really nice slaughter sequence could have occurred there. Nope, not at all. You know? And Gene, you're right. There's nothing even scary here because the animatronic creatures actually end up befriending this little girl and stuff, and it's like, there's no terror, there's no tension, there's no nothing. The last 15 minutes are maybe kind of cool, but other than that, it's like there's nothing happening here.
There's nothing going on.
And I am disappointed that Jamie is not here because he is a player of those games, and I have a feeling he probably really liked it.
Yeah, I think he was a little disappointed as well, but I think he generally had a good experience with the thing. Yeah.
And the acting is not very good either, especially that lady cop. I thought her character was wasted, and she didn't have the ability to pull it off acting-wise.
Yeah, I didn't know what the purpose of the lady cop was. For a while, I was thinking she was a robot,
Right.
And that there was a whole new version here, and then she was going to turn around someday and stab the guy in the back, like it would be a betrayal kind of movie. But no, didn't turn out that way.
No, and I just thought, because they set her up as like, she befriends the caretaker guy. I don't know, what is he? Night watchman guy.
Yeah.
And she kind of gives him some of the lore. And then it turns out, of course, she's kind of complicit in the whole plot anyway.
Right.
But she just couldn't carry it. I just don't think she was a good enough actress to carry that role. And I think it was not written properly. The dialogue sequences for that particular character were just really stilted and not realistic at all. And I just didn't like this movie.
Didn't like it
and
at all.
I watched it twice because I always do. I always do that preparing
Peacock,
for the.
right? You saw it on Peacock.
Right. I didn't see it in the theater, which
I saw it in the theater.
My understanding is the theater experience can be better for this because you're going to be surrounded by kids that know the video game, right? And so.
Yeah, Jamie was right there.
Yeah, and so maybe it's a little better that way. But just again, as regular dude watching a movie that doesn't know any of the backstory or any of the games, this movie just kind of sucked.
It just sucks, yes. Good way to put it. And some of the casting was weird. The main protagonist guy, what's his name? Well, he's from the Hunger Games series.
Yeah, was it Josh Hutcherson or something?
Yeah.
Like that?
I mean, he was fine. But the casting of what's the owner of the store?
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy, for people who don't remember, about just 15, 20 years ago, that guy was Scooby-Doo in the
Shaggy.
Shaggy, no, not the dog. Shaggy and the Scooby-Doo remakes. There were like 2 or 3 of those movies.
Well, but more important.
And I remember that guy from those movies, and so I just was like thinking that guy that's Shaggy. What are you doing?
Well, but you've kind of let down our listening audience because our listeners should recognize him from Scream. He was in Scream. One of the two killers.
Yes, he was in Scream. Yes,
and so I was actually pleased to see him in this film because I always like him, what he's doing, and all this craziness. I mean, who better to play Shaggy than him, right?
Yeah. Shaggy, I remember from the movie from Scream, his great line is, "Oh, you stabbed me too deep."
I know. Yeah.
You gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What am I going to tell Mom?
Right.
There's another line there. But,
yeah, that was great.
So it was nice to see him, but I just think what they do with his character. I mean, it seems like a low budget movie. I think the budget was around $20 million, so it's not that low.
It's pretty
but
low,
it's a real compact cast.
Project low.
Real compact cast. They go off on this weird tangent where this aunt is trying to take the sister away and all this weird stuff.
Yeah, I know. What's that about? Does that sometimes you just got to focus on your story. These tangents it's a waste of time.
Yeah, it made because the movie's like an hour and 49 minutes long. Cut all that stuff out. You can still have that group of ruffians come to the place to trash it. That could have just been, we don't need this backstory on why they're doing it.
Right.
Just show up, get slaughtered, move on.
Yeah, or have more ruffians come in.
Yeah, exactly. And that would have shaved off like the 15 minutes because horror movies need to basically do their thing and get out. Yeah. And unless you've got a reason to have your movie an hour and 50 minutes, basically, no, cut this unnecessary stuff. It was so unnecessary. And I don't know if it was because that's part of the video game. And so, we've got to throw that in.
Yeah, it'd be good to have Jamie here. But, I don't have that perspective.
Yeah. So, and then the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like going, man, there's a much, much better version of animatronic creatures killing people. and it's called Willy's Wonderland.
Maybe we
that
should
one
review
with
that one.
We should, because it would be a good comparison of here's how to kind of do this right. And I love Willy's Wonderland because Nicolas Cage is in it. And
Is that the one where he doesn't talk?
He has no dialogue at all, and
we're doing that one.
He's in basically every single scene,
and he doesn't talk.
And people are talking to him, and he just never responds. It's just
great.
And so I just have this picture of Nicolas Cage. He's basically anyone who asks him to be in a movie, he says yes, but he's like, oh yeah, I'll be in your movie, but guess what? I'm not going to say any lines of dialogue.
Yeah, because I don't want to learn any dialogue.
Yeah. And so, but that one at least, stuff is happening. It's creepy. People are getting killed.
We're doing that one. Yeah, we're doing that one. That might even be a good one for next week even.
Well, no. Next week we are actually doing that one that, because director Scott Eggleston, director of Bad Bones, he will be back with us next week. He sent me that text about, I can't remember the name of the movie now. No One Lives or No One's, I don't know.
Is it on Hulu or something?
It's on Hulu, so I have to resubscribe to Hulu. Hulu probably is getting to hate me now because it's like I subscribe, we watch a movie, I cancel, I subscribe again, I cancel.
Our subscription's still active.
Yeah.
We reviewed a couple movies from Hulu.
We did Prey from Hulu. I remember.
Prey, and didn't we do the space movie as well? Wasn't that Hulu?
That Norwegian film was Hulu. Evil Next Door.
Yeah, Evil Next Door was Hulu.
Yeah, but Gene, the movie we absolutely will do after next week's episode, we have to do it, is When Evil Lurks. I watched it last night. It's Argentinian, and it is awesome. I mean, spoilers, it's awesome. If you haven't seen that movie yet, my God, you've got to watch it. I was just like, I've never seen anything quite like this movie before.
Well, I don't know, Roger. We've disagreed a lot. Didn't you really like that Winnie the Pooh remake?
I didn't really like it, but I like it.
and I hated that piece of garbage.
But no, Gene, your mind will be blown by When Evil Lurks, because there is multiple thematic elements happening underneath this film, and stuff goes on in that film. Like I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah.
All right.
So I will be horribly disappointed if you hate this movie, although it'll be a great episode if you do hate it, because I'm going to give it to you. Baby.
All right. Okay. There you go.
Anyway, is there anything more to say about Five Nights at Freddy's?
I mean, the popcorn's good.
I mean, if
we were putting like the M&Ms in the popcorn, so it's kind of it's like in a way that was the highlight of the movie. It's just so sad.
And I mean, that's the thing. If you are a fan of the video game, play the video game, there's a high probability you'll like this film.
Right.
If you're two guys like Gene and me, you're probably going to hate this movie.
Yeah, you're going to hate it. But we talked about some better movies coming, so yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that one that Scott wants to do.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But yeah, whatever that movie is, Scott will be joining us next week, and we'll be talking about that, and then we'll move on to When Evil Lurks, which will... Well, awesome. I'll see if Scott wants to be in on that one, too, because this movie's right up his alley as well. Excellent. I'm sure. Well, Gene, I think we've set a record of shortest episode ever, and that's pretty much all that Five Nights at Freddy's really deserves.
There's no more talking about it. Right? We just can't.
So, hey, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.